Hello everyone. So today let us talk about permissions. Now, while working with my clients, I often encounter this situation or problem or a challenge where my clients ask me, Ravi, we want to do this, but we can't do it. We want to enable something. We watch a video and we read somewhere online that we have to do this change in the configuration, but we have no way of doing it, or we can't really figure out how to do it. Now, this is basically about permission. Now, it's a common problem or a challenge whenever you find a solution online. Maybe you are reading a documentation. Uh, it is not always very clear that you need to be a Jira admin to do that change in your configuration. And this is very important because when you are trying to solve a problem, you could be a project manager, you could be a Jira user, you really need to know what all you can do and what all you cannot do. Now, my suggestion is, if you are not a Jira admin, you are, let us say, a project manager or a project lead, or if you're just a Jira user, then of course, learning Jira is important, number one, and there is always some kind of a training required. I always insist on training when I'm working with my clients. I tell them that okay, we can roll out Jira, but you have to, in a way, train your employees or teams, and that training doesn't really have to be like a proper full 2 day 1 day training. It could be just small sessions. It could be a mini workshop. So do things gradually, because if you do it in one go, it will most likely never really work. So when it comes to training, you should focus on the uh, the coaching or mentorship kind of a thing. Of course, make your tool, make your Jira, configure it in a way so that it is easier for everyone to understand. Definitely make a documentation. So basically, when you are doing something in Jira, you have to not only make a documentation, not only make videos, tutorials, but also spend time with your users. Now, if you are a user, or if you are a project manager or a lead, someone who is just using the tool for doing something, then don't worry too much about learning what all you cannot do. Instead, focus on learning what you can do. Now, if you are a Jira user, then of course you can, based on of course your permission, you can work on the issues, you can create issues, you can browse issues. Again, based on the permission, you can search, you can create your dashboards based on your permission. But if you are a project admin, then you can of course do things in your project. For example, you can add people to the role, you can add fields to your screens if they are not really shared by anyone. You can definitely modify the workflow again if not shared by any other project. So you can definitely, and of course, when you modify the workflow, you can just modify the states, add some available states and transitions. You can't really add transition screens, you can't really add conditions, validators, post functions, unfortunately. So this is something that you can definitely do. And I also mentioned recently about automation rules. So project admins can add automation rules based on their access to limited projects where they have admin rights. But if you are a project admin, then you definitely need to learn about things that you can do. And for everything else that you can't do, of course, ask. Don't really complain. Don't really say that Jira is a bad tool. It is, again, a tool like any other tool, and you have to basically understand that as compared to other tools, Jira is actually quite flexible. But at the same time, people can configure it. People can make it work for you. I'm talking about your Jira admin team or consultants like me, who basically help you get the most out of Jira. So if you are trying to use the tool, learning is definitely important. And if you're working in an organization where you don't really have rights, not a problem. Good thing is, in 2023, it was not the case, by the way, earlier. Now you can definitely start your own Jira instance for free. So I highly recommend and I encourage everyone, anyone who is using Jira, you definitely should spend some time learning about it And if you want to learn a bit more, then you need to have admin rights. So if you want to learn Jira administration, or if you just want to spend a bit more time with your own instance, because when you have admin rights, you can of course do things freely without worrying about disturbing everything else. So just sign up for a free cloud instance. It is free for limited number of users, which is, to be honest, more than enough. On the Jira free version, you won't be able to modify the permissions because, to be honest, you don't have to, because it will be a small instance. So I guess you can live without modifying the permissions. But I highly recommend you to sign up for a free Jira cloud instance. And if you want to learn Jira, and if you are looking for a training, you could be an individual, or you could be, especially if you are an organization, then do reach out to me. I can definitely help you. I do provide corporate trainings, and it could be a training, it could be Jira consultation. I can definitely help you, because when people start using a tool like Jira, again, based on my experience, they focus more on the tool side. But you should actually try to understand, when I say you, I'm talking about you as a person who is responsible for rolling out Jira. You should not focus on Jira at all. In fact, Jira is just a tool. Just focus on the problems that you want to solve. And that is where having some kind of a help from a consultant like me can save a lot of time and a lot of money, to be honest, because if you are able to use the tool, not only you and your team, your organization will save time, money, but your employees will be happy. You will have like a consistent standard way of working. But of course, it has to be done in a balance. I made a video about Jira bureaucracy. So again, I do talk about Jira standardization, like way of working, but at the same time, there has to be a balance between too many restrictions, at the same time letting people do what they want to do. So there has to be a balance. And in the beginning, I can understand if you are new to Jira. Using a tool like Jira in the beginning, starting is not really a difficult thing at all, but it always helps when you get some proper guidance or help from a consultant. So if you are an organization who is interested in rolling out Jira, or maybe you have already rolled out Jira, or you're thinking of rolling out Jira, you could be at any stage. Maybe you want to automate something, do reach out to me. I can definitely help you. On my channel, on my videos, I hardly talk about my own. I don't really do self-promotion because I don't have to. People do reach out to me anyways, but I guess sometimes I can, because that is what I do. This is my, majority of the work that I do for a living is around Atlassian tools. All right, that is it. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new. Thank you very much. Bye bye.